He said it because of his wet blanket energy.
Unhinged. That's actually unhinged.
Hey guys, welcome to She's All Bach. This is our weekly segment, Sound Off in the comments below, where you guys submit the topics we talk about. Hey Jackie.
Hi Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good. Happy anniversary. In case you guys didn't know, She's All Bach turned 3 on October 28th. So actually today we have a lot of like podcast related questions too. So in case you're new here though, every week we put up a comment box on both of our Instagrams. You guys can submit the topics and we talk about them. Anything from pop culture, nostalgia, podcast related questions as we have today. We have a request, Jackie, because people are up in arms that we are not doing our original tagline intro anymore. So shall we should we just bring it back? Because there's no reason why we dropped it. We just like,
wait,
guys,
what are people saying? They're like, they genuinely are like, why are you not saying that one sentence in the beginning of the podcast anymore?
Join us as we talk shit about our favorite show.
Yeah.
Well, because I think it was for like not 3 years, 2 and something years that we said it, and then we just didn't say it anymore.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
Because we thought you guys
honestly,
knew the drill.
we thought you guys knew, and clearly some people just want to be reminded. What if they don't know that they can join us as we talk shit?
They didn't know us. They were literally joining us and listening or watching. Guys, that's on you. If you don't know that you can join us, that's on you, babes.
You can always join us as we talk shit about our favorite show.
Exactly.
And I still don't care if you're here for the right reasons. I'm just happy that you're here. But but I mean, in Sound Off, we don't just talk about The Bachelor. And some would argue if The Bachelor is even Jackie's favorite show anymore.
Some, including me, might argue. Well,
so let's just bring it back for old time's sake. Hello and welcome to She's All Bach. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jackie.
And we don't care if you talk shit. And we don't care if you. We don't
care
care
for the right reasons. We're just happy you're here.
And we don't care if you're here for the right. Okay, sorry. And we don't care if you're here for the right reasons. We're just happy that you're here.
So join us as we talk shit about our favorite show.
We don't even have the din-din-din-din anymore. Oh my gosh, should we bring that back too, guys? We don't, right?
Yeah, I guess we don't these days because I used to use them as like little transitions in between segments, but also in between, like after we would do our ads, then it would transition back to the show. But I guess we just got to a point where it's like easier to just cut and not put that in.
I'm not opposed to them. They can come back. Shall we dive in now to our topics?
Let's do it.
Week?
You said you had some exclusive tea, and I'm really excited to
I have some exclusive tea, guys, because a lot of you are freaking out about Miss Leslie Fhima and Jordan and why they were cuddling up and taking that little selfie. So, Leslie is a friend of the show. Jackie met her in person and sent her champagne. We are going to be talking to her in the near future.
A little teaser for you.
So I messaged her and I was like, girl, what's going on? What's the tea? And she filled me in. So while I'm literally seeing like headlines like, what's going on with Leslie and Jordan? Like, we have the answer right here. I said, people are freaking out about this. And she said, I know. It was a soccer game. I don't know what that means. Like, what? Like, she doesn't have young kids, so I don't know if it was like an adult soccer game or what.
I mean, adults famously do play soccer.
Famously,
you could go to like a professional soccer game.
Okay, so it was a soccer game. I said, oh my God,
do they
LOL.
live in a similar area? Sorry to interrupt.
I don't know. I know Jordan is from Chicago because location was a key point in our hometown recap.
Yes, and isn't Leslie, why do I want to say she's from like Minnesota or something? And I feel like that's kind of near Chicago. Not super close, but like closer than New York.
Like Tahoe? You know? Don't ask me.
No,
I
Tahoe.
Don't know.
That's in California.
It's a little throwback humor from the hometowns episode. Sorry. I don't know any geography.
Wait, and also spoiler. So I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it tomorrow before.
Wait, you don't know though? Do you not know?
The hometowns thing? No, I've been like MIA. For you guys who don't know, that's why Dave was with Stephanie last week. It's because I was on a conference for work and I have not caught up on the episode.
But like nothing's even spoiled. No, nothing's spoiled you. You're not going to watch it. I think you should
watch.
I
am going to watch it. I'm going to watch it before. I'm going to watch it tomorrow before I watch the new episode.
Really?
Yeah, why would I can't miss an episode.
Well, sure. I mean, but I think Hometowns is probably one you can just like watch the end.
No, okay, but I'll put it on while I'm like making dinner or like doing. I need to make sure I know what's going on.
Now that you genuinely don't know, and I do know, what do you think happens? Like, who's in the top 3?
Guy, Chalk, Pascal. Who's the other guy who's in Hometowns?
Jordan. That's who we're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. So obviously not him. Or maybe him. I don't know.
Well, should I tell you?
Not only have I not seen like the episode yet, I feel like even on my social media, like nothing was really spoiled for me because I feel like no one was talking about it.
Can I just tell you?
Sure. Yeah.
You're right. Those are the top 3. And I am leaning more towards the possibility that Pascal could be top 2.
Whoa.
And I think Guy's going to get the boot. So
interesting. Wow.
And I have literally no clue still. I don't know why like the trolls are like taking a break. Maybe they're bored from this season. But like there's not even anyone out there really like spoiling it anymore. Except Steve,
and
obviously. But like, I mean, spoiling it like
number one.
I mean, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
Just asking your personal.
But I don't.
So nothing in Hometowns changed your opinion on that?
No. If anything, I feel like she acts like she's like putting on a show for the other guys. And with Chalk, it's like her boyfriend. Like they are so tight. Okay. So back to Leslie and Jordan.
Yeah.
So I said, oh my God, so any romance going on we're going to discuss in this week's episode? She said, well, not yet. LOL. Literally just met him. He's adorable though. And then I asked for permission to share this because she's a friend of the show. So we have exclusive tea from Leslie that I would say that means she's open to dating Jordan.
I think so. And the fact that she said we could share that is kind of what. So she kind of wants it out in the universe that she's like, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not like she's telling me to share it. She's saying like,
but you
sure.
asked if you could.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's her way of like shooting her shot. I don't think Leslie Fhima needs to shoot her shot. Said it once and I'll say it again. Sexy Dancer was written about her. This woman, I literally was thinking about this when I was messaging her. I'm like, what do you mean? Not yet. Like, we'll see type thing. Like, you're Leslie. You can literally get any guy. Like, if I walked around and I was Leslie, I would just be like, man. Like, she can just get anyone. You can get Mark Jordan. Anderson if you wanted.
Whoa.
She wants Jordan.
Whoa. Do you think maybe she'll go on his season? That would be stunning.
Mark was spotted with another woman, and this may debunk the entire Golden Bachelor theory.
When was this?
Like, literally this week.
Last week?
No. Like, yesterday. So I got a lot of submissions about it. So Mark apparently dressed up as Prince Charming with Cinderella, and Cinderella is Deb from One Tree Hill. Do you know who that is?
Like an actress?
Yeah. Can you Google
or the character?
Because just I don't know if it's the character or the actress. I don't watch that show. But a lot of people sent this photo to me, and like, look, at first glance, yes, I could tell that's Mark. I didn't know who the woman was, and I'm like, is this someone from Gary's season? Like, it kind of looked like a mix between Nancy and April to me, and I'm like, am I just supposed to know who this woman is? Apparently, it is a famous person, and they're posing very cuddly in the photo, and they are a couple's costume, so people are kind of assuming that means that he's in a relationship.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. Okay, so Deb is the character that she plays on One Tree Hill. Her real name's Barbara Allen Woods.
Oh, Barbara.
She's an actress.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of articles clearly like written about them being together. I mean, I'm here for it. Also, too, though, like you can date people before you are on the show. And I think we need to like let that be okay, right? Like if they haven't asked Mark to be the Golden Bachelor or they haven't started filming yet, is he what, supposed to just remain like celibate and locked in his house and like not meet people and not?
I mean, that's what Jonathan is doing. Jonathan's like, I'm going to the beach. I'm only gonna act like I know who Jen Tran is for the foreseeable future. You know, he's still doing those
that's
dress
like ridiculous
reviews.
And like not true. Like he's probably like casually dating, and I would expect him to be doing that. Wait, what were you saying about Jen and Jonathan?
I'm just like a little confused. I'm a little confusion about why Jonathan is still doing the dress review thing for Jen. I feel like there's this.
That's all he has. He needs engagement on his social media.
I feel like at this point, it's like when you think of Sam M, it feels like a distant memory. Like who? I don't even know who that is. Devin, who are you? Like there's this like weird period after a season airs that like you forget and you move on. So he popped up on my TikTok the other day and he's like, all right, guys, we have 3 new dresses. And I'm like, we're still doing this? You guys are literally just friends. I don't believe for a second there's even like sexual chemistry anymore. I really don't. So I feel like this is like kind of a facade. And now people are thinking that Jen and her dance partner Sasha are kind of like milking the relationship thing because it apparently gets you further in the competition.
I mean, that all sounds like a good strategy, honestly.
I know, I would do it too.
On Jen's side and on Jonathan's side. Like, he's got to keep those numbers up before his Paradise debut.
Right. But even if he doesn't, he's going to be first on the beach. Everyone's going to want him. Wait, so I think the bigger thing with the Mark thing is that if I agree, he could date whoever he wants. Let's say this Deb woman is the one and he wants to stay with her. He's not the Golden Bachelor then. Then we're looking at Jonathan.
Yeah, I think if and when he's asked to be the Golden Bachelor, he's going to have to look around at his life, look at Deb/Barbara and be like, okay, is this someone I see a future with, or was this just a fun fling and I'll move on to be the Bachelor? And if and when that time comes, he can make a decision.
It's giving Ben Flajnik dumping Jennifer Love Hewitt before he became the Bachelor. Deb is the modern day Jennifer Love Hewitt.
It happens a lot because it's unrealistic to expect people to just like not date and move on with their lives as they kind of wait for ABC to maybe decide to make them the lead of this show, especially when we know how fickle it is. Even when they decide someone, they could switch up until the last minute. So it's like, of course you need to keep living your life.
When was the moment you knew the podcast was taking off? So we have some podcast related questions in line with the anniversary. So I would like to touch on some of those. When was the moment you knew?
I'll say the moment I knew was
we should guess
after
each
we
other's
released
answers.
our first episode. You called me and said Sarah Heron was going to write about it in Us Weekly because we had Jillian's interview in that first episode and there were some good quotes there. You called me and you're like, oh, she's going to write about it. I think we released the episode on a Thursday or a Friday? Because I remember that
was our original day.
All of Halloween weekend. And then maybe Sarah Heron released the article on Monday or shortly after. Oh, yeah, it was Thursdays.
On Thursdays, what is it? We listened to She's All Bach.
As soon as you called me and told me she was going to write about it, I was like, oh, ding, 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 we're going to do well. Because also, in case you guys don't know kind of how the coverage in these publications works, it's like once one person picks it up, then all the other ones, like People, whatever, everyone just starts copying each other and writing the same article over and over.
It's
so
called
once one person says they're going to write about you, then what is it? It's called syndication?
Syndication, yeah. Yeah, no, it is. Like
that actually what they call it in the industry?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's funny. That's like what they call when you take like
in TV
shows. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, so anyway, same type of concepts that once one person writes about it, then you're going to get a bunch of different hits and a bunch of different articles. And so as soon as you told me we were going to be in the article, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. We got a hit. What's yours?
Oh, gosh. It's like I knew the question, but I didn't prepare. I mean, I guess when I like really thought this isn't like a huge moment or something, but like I remember where I was when Chris Soules wrote me back when I wrote him and asked him to come on our show. He didn't come on until like probably, I don't even know, 6 months. Like he was later. It's not like he was in the very beginning. But I remember being in my car and I just like wrote a bunch of people inviting them on the show. And I'm like, Chris literally did not do media. Like he still really doesn't. I think he's only done maybe like one other thing since our show. And I'm like, well, he's not going to even see this or write back. And like, he wrote back and he goes, sure, I'd love to. And I'm like, why? What? And I was so excited. And I remember I wrote you and I'm like, oh my God, I'm flipping out. And you thought it was going to be something much cooler. You're like, oh, I thought you were going to say like we got invited to go on like the Vile Files or something. I'm like, no, Chris Soules is going to come on our show. I like remember this. I was in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot.
He was after the Ben Higgins thing, right?
Yeah.
Because we talked about our first like lead.
Yeah, we talked about salary. Remember?
Ben.
Oh, sorry.
No, Ben was the one
Ben we talked about salary with,
which I think may have been cut out of the episode.
It was cut out of the episode, but then we revealed it at Fots Fest, but
that's only for the live people. You didn't think we would maybe be hit because I also another moment too was when Game of Roses covered our Kristen Whitney interview. That was like one of our third or fourth episodes. Yeah, and that was a big deal too.
There was a lot of moments.
Because then we were on like other people who do this is radar, which I thought was a big deal. Also, Courtney's interview she was like our fourth episode or second or somewhere there. That got picked up by media stuff too. So I think our interviews really early on were proving to me that like, oh, that's how we're going to get attention at first.
Someone wrote, can you talk us around the juiciest unaired tid? We'll say this. There is an interview that came out that was very juicy, and ABC was so pissed by how juicy it was that they contacted the person we interviewed and had the person that we interviewed contact us and ask us to take it down. And we'll leave it there.
Something that I've learned over the course of our interviewing time is that these days, when people say things that are really juicy, I I feel like when we were first starting out, someone would say something juicy and both you and I'd be like, oh, like, and we like very obviously react. Now I've learned if someone says something juicy, we should not react, because if we react being like, oh, wow, this is great, then they're going to start second guessing themselves and be like, wait, should I have not have said that? Wait, maybe take that out. And so I don't like to like open that conversation up. So now when people say juicy things, I try to like stay composed and not react so that they don't overthink it. And then it doesn't even become a topic of conversation after the interview where they're like, wait, actually, maybe they should take that out.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned over the years, that like in the times that we've reacted, sometimes it plants the seed in the interviewee that they should ask us to take it out. And I don't want to give them that feeling.
That's a good point. I feel like we've learned a lot since the very beginning.
So much.
Too.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do this in my sleep. However, there is a question, do you get nervous before interviews? And Jackie will tell you I do every single time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like Michael Stagliano, yes, I've done an interview with him like 4 or 5 times now, but even still before, I'm like, I get a little bit jitter, like that jitter feeling. I don't know why. You don't anymore, right?
Not really, but I think it depends on the person, depends on what types of questions you plan to ask them. Yeah. And then I think sometimes it can be a little more so if there's an interview that like I'm doing by myself too. Cause like I think it's always a little bit more comforting when both of us are there to kind of read the vibes and pick up the slack for one another. But if it's just a one-on-one thing, then the onus is totally on you to like keep it going and make sure it's not awkward. And if there is an awkward moment, like, I don't know, it's a little dance back and forth. And since you can't really fully prepare for what the person's going to throw at you, I think that's the nerve-wracking part. Like we could be so prepared and have all of our questions, but you don't know if you're going to vibe with the other person, if they're going to be uncomfortable by what you're asking, if they're going to say something weird. So the unknown is a little scary.
There's a lot of unknown. And when you say the awkwardness, like you want when they finish a question to like react and have something ready. And while they're talking, sometimes if you don't have a partner, while they're talking, you have to be like, okay, I'm listening to this, but what's my next one going to be? So there's not that awkward like space. And that's
well, also listening to them so that if there is a follow-up, you can ask that question, but keeping the other question in the back of your mind so that there's still like good flow and you don't have to be like, wait a second, so what was I going to ask next? Yes, it's an art, people.
Someone asked favorite and least favorite interview. I'm not going to say a least favorite interview, but I will say, because we did get a few of these people asking like moments where we felt like it was like awkward or whatnot. I will say when people act like they don't want to talk about the show and our podcast is about the show, those are my least favorite, because if like you're not willing to talk, like why did you even agree to this? So those, I just think those in general when those moments happen. And then favorite, I mean, I have so many favorites. Who's like you're gonna say Blake, right?
Yeah, Blake Horstman is my all-time favorite. We talked to him for so long, and that was like, I just thought the tea was so good, like especially because had we just come off of that season, or was maybe that the season before or something? It just felt really fresh, and I felt
was relevant,
still emotionally invested in like his whole storyline. So then to get some of the behind the scenes there, I thought was like really great. Yeah, and I would agree as far as least favorite. I do get really confused when it's like, what part of She's All Bach podcast made you think that we would not ask you questions about your time on the show? I just don't. Or when people ask us to like, obviously if people ask us to take things out, we respect that and we do. But when it's so much of the interview, it's like, well, what did you think we were doing here? Just like talking for fun? Like, well, obviously, but like there's only so much we could take out before it just became a waste of time and we should just scrap the interview, you know?
Yeah, that's why I get sometimes a little frustrated after interviews if people are like, why didn't you ask X? Because it's like, you have no idea like all the other steps it takes to get to the final interview. Like for all you know, we could have asked the question. It was just taken out. Or in the moment, like we said, in terms of like kind of reading the room and seeing how you vibe with the person, maybe we had planned to ask that question, but then they're super not willing to like open up. So you don't even go there because you don't want to like sabotage the rest of the interview. Someone wrote, how many hours per week do you dedicate to the podcast? It's tricky.
So many. I don't know. I also think there's a difference too between like our physical recording, you editing, doing like literal stuff, and then also just like our brains always going 24/7 as far as like answering emails or, you know, coordinating brand deals or whatever it is.
We have different roles too, but even like on like a Thursday, let's say when we record the recap, like we get up, we record at 8:30. We record probably from like 8:30 to 10, maybe like an hour and a half, just a little wiggle room. Then I edit like the audio version from like 10:30 to 1, 2. Then I pass it over to our video editor now. Shout out Megan. And then she does the video part and then she sends it back to me and then we put everything up online and then promotions. So like, I mean, Thursdays is like a full day, but not every day is like that. So, I mean, I guess it varies from day to day. And like, it depends on like Jackie does all of like our financial stuff. So obviously during like tax season, that's going to be a lot more of a complicated.
Right. And that even that throughout the year kind of ebbs and flows, like whether it's like at the end of the month, I have to do a lot of catching up on invoices and stuff, or like once a quarter, I try to balance the books so that it's not a huge headache during tax season. But
oh, she'll be like, I'm so impressed by you with finance stuff though, because you'll be like following up with our brands and you're like, you have an outstanding invoice from February 2024. And I'm like, how the hell did you even like keep up with that to even know that there's still.
I have a system, a little sheet.
Yeah.
I feel like you never go to that tab. That's
I
like
don't.
revenue or whatever. But like if you look, it's a color coded system there, and I constantly keep it updated. So
no, it's amazing. That's not my forte. Okay. Was the Bachelor contestant who hit on Jackie Dustin? We all want to know. Don't you know? I feel like we've already
I've talked about this. Yeah. It was not Dustin.
Do you guys not know? It wasn't Dustin.
Dustin had a girlfriend when we interviewed with him.
I think because
and
didn't your mom,
I think
your mom saw him in like Whole Foods or something.
Yes, no, me and my mom ran into him, but he was there with his girlfriend.
That's probably why she thinks it was Dustin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Trader Joe's. Yeah, no, it wasn't Dustin. It was someone else who was engaged and now he's not engaged anymore. Oh, were you going to get drinks with him in LA?
Yes. And
did you?
We didn't. We didn't end up getting drinks, but we chatted about it. It just the timing didn't work out because he was busy. I was busy. Maybe another time. Maybe next time I go to LA. We'll see.
Should we have him back on the show?
What is it? Not really. Like, what is there to say?
Okay, well, are we going to answer the question or no?
No, just because if you really care, go deep dive into another time. I've talked about it, but I don't want to since I just talked to him, I don't want to put it on blast.
She follows him though, and he follows her back.
Okay, I follow a lot of people, and a lot of people follow me back.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, if you really, this has already been like figured out. So I'm sure if you just go lurk in our Facebook group, you can find it. Congrats on the anniversary. Do you remember how you felt recording your very first episode? Nervous. I was.
And there were so many aspects of it that obviously there was like such a learning curve with certain recordings, because I had done podcasting before, but you and I met in person actually in the very room that you're recording from right now to do our first episode. So us being in the room together and having two separate mics, but then having to like record.
Oh yeah.
And have it not pick up the other person. Like there were a lot of tech things that made that tricky. But yes, I remember going all the way to Stephanie's house on Long Island, driving there, her getting us pumpkin coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and recording.
But what did you feel? Were you like,
what did I feel?
This is cool, this is good, or?
I felt that it was good. I mean, yeah, the tech stuff was a little frustrating, but overall, like I feel it's so crazy. Like you and I have always like vibed very well and had very good chemistry, which I think is so strange considering like I literally showed up to your house having never met you in person and talked on the phone with you like 3 times in my life. And yet there was like, it was never like awkward. We were just like normal. And that's but like, that's weird. That doesn't happen with everyone you meet in the world.
I know.
I always clocked immediately, even from when you first came on like my old podcast, when we first met, that like our senses of humor were very similar.
Oh, so I found the question I meant to find before. Who was the biggest diva, had the most requirements? She said, I'm thinking Peter Webb. I don't know if I'm going to say who, but.
I don't think we can say who. I feel, are we thinking of the same person?
I don't know. Well,
telepathically tell me.
Well, I'm thinking of one thing that I actually don't think you're thinking of. I'm thinking of when they asked us they decided when the episode would come out, like literally told us the week it had to come out. And then we had to send questions, and then they sent us back the questions that were approved. So I don't think it's who you're thinking of.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not who I'm thinking of.
Should I tell you?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have described that person as the most.
No, she's not, but that's something that came to mind.
The one that came to mind for me was We recorded the entire interview. Then they called us and was like, actually, can we like do it again?
Oh,
like,
I just see
absolutely not, dude. Like I have to go to work and you just wasted an hour of our time. We simply cannot get back online and do another hour of an interview. Like what? In what world? In what world?
I didn't even, so as you're saying that, I realize who it is, but I also thought you were going to say, we did an entire interview with someone. They talked about something sketchy and we're like, oh, are you sure you want to talk about this? Like, we don't have to go here if you don't want to. And they're like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. The second the interview's over, calls, actually, can you take out this, and this?
I know. I hate that.
So we take out the stuff that this person requested. It goes live. And then this person contacted Jackie again in another form and then basically yelled at her again and said, no, also take out this, as if this person asked for like, she was almost making you feel bad, like you were wrong, as if she asked you to take it down and you didn't. You took down what she asked you to. She just had more requests. So for
and then they were just asking for it to be down in general. This person's mom called me and I have voicemails on my phone of this person's mom asking me to take down the entire interview. And it's like, hello, we have a business here. We can't just take down a whole episode. We have implications of that. We went over back and forth with your person multiple times. We asked them in the interview if they were comfortable. After the interview, when they said they were uncomfortable, we edited it out. I hate that though, when after the fact, like when we ask them in the interview, we're like, oh, we don't have to go there if you don't want. And they're like, no, I think it's fine. And then they say all this stuff. Then after the fact, they're like, actually, can you take all that out? I hate that because it's like, shouldn't have wasted our time. And then now the interview is like shorter than we anticipated it being. And like, if this wasn't going to be okay, I wouldn't have wasted all that time asking you those questions. We would have moved on and asked different things to fill that space. And now we just have like a choppy, shorter interview that doesn't flow the way it should.
I don't mind as much when they ask immediately after though, because I understand being in the moment. Like we've been interviewed on other people's podcasts. I understand being in the moment and you're nervous and like you say something dumb and you're like, why the fuck did I say that? So we always tell people before we start, like if anything comes up and you don't want to go there, please like feel free. Like don't feel like if we ask you, you have to answer. Like I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable. So if they ask like right when we're done, like, hey, like I'm having second thoughts about XYZ, like that's fine. At least when you go into editing, you can like go in knowing that that's going to be taken out. It's when you ask for something, then change it. So I've had someone send me like timestamps before.
Yeah.
Who was the person that asked to record the whole episode again? This person sent me timestamps of things. And I was like, dude.
Sometimes just because it's us two gals, people try to like take advantage of that or just don't take us as seriously. It's like, we're still a business and we're still like an entertainment outlet. Like, would you go to People Magazine and be like, actually, can we like edit half of this out and like scrap this? And like, you wouldn't. You would go do the interview and then go move on with your life.
Most encouraging interview over the last 3 years.
Encouraging in what way?
Brayden, there are interviews that we have done that are like moving almost. They're like, wow, not only did you not see the person being the way they were in the interview, but like the story they have to share is really compelling. I would say Brayden, Clayton.
Yeah.
Brayden and Clayton definitely come to mind first. They both had like very inspirational stories. And I didn't really have like crazy opinions on them either way before we interviewed them. I liked them both and wanted to talk to them, but like it was, great. Come on the show. I'm excited to talk to you. I was blown away by both of them. And like literally to this day, if anyone brings up either of them, I'm like, I will die for either of them. Like I love them. And there's certain people that we've interviewed over 100 people. There are certain people that like I still feel a connection to like long after we talk to them. Like I just will always be somewhat biased towards them now because I know them more. And I don't know. Do you feel that sometimes?
Yeah, I would say another one I would add to that is Kat's interview too. I think
I loved her.
Hers was so good. We got such good feedback after her interview. And yeah, it's just like amazing when people really trust us to share their story. I think that's sometimes like the most like moving piece of this is like Kat even said to us when we were going to record with her, she was like, no, we're like, oh, like, thanks so much for doing this. We're excited to chat with you. She was like, oh no, like, of course the first time I was going to open up about my breakup, it was going to be with you guys. Like, I trust you guys to have this conversation. Like, of course it's going to be you.
I feel mentally ready now. So we're good.
And we're your first?
Yeah. I felt the most comfortable with you guys to like speak on this, but I'd rather first time speaking on the breakup.
Yeah. I'm honored. I think that's so
honored
fucking
too.
Cool.
I'm like,
really?
nice to say. Yeah.
Of course it was going to be you guys. I mean, who else would have been?
And I was like, oh my God, like the fact that people would choose us because they know our interview style is like empathetic and we would relate to them and like support them just makes me feel so good and proud of what we do. Cause sometimes I think it can feel a little bit like when The Bachelor disappoints us as a franchise, sometimes I'm like, oh, are we adding to the problem because we cover this show? But at the same time, I like the fact that we also have a platform of like supporting people who have felt wronged by the show and like lifting them up and like kind of exposing some of that nastiness. And then I feel good about what we do.
Totally.
You know,
someone wrote most disrespectful comment in the DMs or the comments below.
Oh,
I mean, there's been so many. I will say there is one that sticks out. And when I tell you, I remember this person's name. I'm not going to say it.
Oh my God.
But I do remember this. And this is not even the most disrespectful, but one that made me look at my phone and I was like, oh, like I didn't even know what to say. It was the infamous time where we forgot about Olivia's date with John frickin' Henry, which like was punishable by death. And we both got so many messages telling us to like literally jump off cliffs. And this one girl, bitch, I know your name. She wrote me and was like, Olivia went on a date with John Henry. And I wrote back to a lot of people that corrected me. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I know. We totally forgot in the moment, like human. And so I said something like that. And she wrote back and she's like, I know, but like, you realize it's literally your job, right? And I literally looked at my phone and I was like, I sat there. I'm like, I don't even know how to craft an answer because like the actual audacity, like, do you write other strangers on the internet and tell them how to do their job? Like I couldn't wrap my head around like, but like, hey, you have you ever messed up at your job before? Are you like actually perfect? Like I couldn't even come up with a response. I think I just like sat there, wrote, deleted. Like, I don't even know what my response ended up being, but I was so blown away by the audacity that someone would like word it that way. I understand if you're going to correct because we said something wrong, that's like totally fine. But to like throw it in my face and make me feel like shit that I'm bad at my job. Like my job is, I made my job. Like there's no one above us. So what if I purposely intended to say it wrong? You know what I mean? Like you're judging me based off of how you think I should do my job. What if I wanted to forget that Olivia and John Henry broke up? I think about this a lot. Like when people critique us, I'm like, you're basing this off of like what you think our show should be.
And I think a lot of it too, I think there's a misconception that like our job is like
dumb.
And I get it, right? Like, well, I get it. Like people are working way harder than we are all over the world at jobs that are like a lot more difficult than this job. So I think I can see how people look at us and they're like, look, you're so lucky that for a job you get to watch the show and talk about it. And we totally are. We're very privileged and blessed. I get that. So I get why people have that like response to it where they're like, well, your job's like, you have a dream job and you can't even like do it right. However, one, it's still a job, guys. It's still work. There's still like a lot of aspects behind the scenes that are really difficult about it that maybe you don't get. We're humans. Like it's not that deep. So you've never messed up at your job before?
Like, yeah. Okay. Like, so I do have a dream job. I do have a job that's cool and it's fun. Okay. So in the moment, I forgot about something. Like literally that's all it was too. It's not like in the previous episode where she did go on the date, we were like, oh, they didn't go on a date. No, it was like a week or two after.
I'm shocked that that's the meanest thing
it's not
that someone has said to you. Or maybe I guess that's the one that stuck with you the most, not necessarily the meanest. Cause I'm like, people tell me to quit the podcast like once a month. They're
no,
like,
they don't.
Stephanie should do this by themselves.
Who says that?
People on the reviews. I don't not once a month, but it's been multiple times. It's so bullshit. Fine. I don't care. But see, here's the thing with the comments, guys, though, like jokes on you. You can write the meanest shit to me. I literally
Jackie
don't
does
care.
not care.
So you're wasting the energy on your fingers typing.
No, I actually think that too. Well, no, it's not true for me, but I think it should be true for both of us. I will say, so I understand that one's not nearly as mean as like it actually has been, but the other one that sticks out is also not that mean. But when I tell you guys, I had a mental breakdown. I got it on a bad day. It was someone who specifically wrote this whole thing and was wrong about a lot of things. Like sometimes people reference quotes that we say, but like they take it out of context or they switch your words around. I'm like, so you just get to run around and say that I said that, but like, I didn't say that. So anyways, in this whole paragraph, she like referenced something I said that was not actually in the context or whatever that I said. And then at the end of the paragraph said like, and they're so greedy. And she used the word greedy. And I was like PMSing this day, whatever. I called my mom over and I bawled my eyes out because I was like, this person has no clue. Like, you have no clue that we cut our fucking Fots Fest prices in half because we didn't want to sell $80 tickets to you guys. You have no clue that we were instructed to charge more for our merch. We were instructed to charge, like, we are told to charge more. You have no clue that I've sent free merch to people. We've donated to organizations that we haven't even told you about. Like, there's so many things we've done that are not greedy. So to just, for someone to completely like, one, misquote us and like say things that were completely incorrect, but then to top it off and say that we were greedy, I'm like, we're like so the opposite of that one really hurt me. And I understand that that's like the furthest thing from like actually cruel. It was just something that affected me.
Right. But like, you're not greedy. So it's like, just because some Joe Schmo says it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like when you feel like you're doing things that are so polar opposite and it still doesn't resonate, you're like, wait, are you fucking kidding? So what is your worst one? People telling you to jump off a cliff?
No. Well, they don't tell me to actually jump off a cliff. People, I guess that's maybe the meanest one. That I shouldn't be on this podcast, or that like people just think I'm annoying sometimes, or like a big one that's a common thread is people like Jackie tries too hard to seem young, and I'm like,
oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to tell you about that.
She just is young.
I'm not that young, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I do, though, talk with more Gen Z younger people than other people, just because I'm in an office all day with like interns. Like, I have to talk to them. So then I learn what's going on.
Yeah.
They tell me.
Like,
hey,
the
summer
sis,
interns
slay.
would like explain. Yeah, literally. They tell me what the cool words are and all the things.
Love that for you. She also like roams about New York City. Like, she's in like the nightlife where I reckon kids go.
Where the kids go. Yeah. I just think living in a city though keeps you more like on the pulse of
keeps
things.
you young. Keep me so young. Maybe instead of
exactly.
Maybe instead of quit bitch, they actually meant to say quiet bitch.
I don't know if that's better or worse considering this is a podcast. And so if you're just telling me to be quiet, it's basically the same thing.
On when they put Monica's hat when she worked at the restaurant and they put quit bitch on her hat. And Phoebe's like, maybe it actually meant to say quiet bitch.
No, I actually don't remember that one.
Quiet bitch. Yeah, that would probably not be great on a podcast. I've actually had thoughts about when people say sound off, like, all right, turn the sound off. Someone wrote, can we talk about how Stefanie is possibly the Bachelor gossip account Bachelor Dirt? Do people think this? I follow them and they follow me, but I'm not them.
Is Bachelor Dirt an Instagram?
Yeah. But why do you think
people
that I'm
think
that
it's
person?
you? Wait, that's so funny.
Wait until you see that I'm actually Reality Steve. Imagine.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I didn't know people thought that.
Does more than this one person think that? If so, sound off in the comments below. If so, why does that person not like reveal their identity? Or maybe I should like milk this a little and make it seem like, I don't know, maybe you guys should go follow the account. I will say to your question, no comment. It's always nice to stoke the flames, you know?
Yeah. XOXO.
Do you do your own editing production? If not, how big is your team? Starting my own non-Bachelor related pod. Yes, we do everything. Well, actually, no, now we have a video editor. Again, shout out Megan. Yeah. But we do our production. Yeah. Like everything there's no one that like comes up with questions for us. There's no one that comes up with topics for us. There's no one that like edits like we have final say over all of our episodes. Like I said before, it goes to our video editor. I still go through and I control over like what actually makes the final episode. So we have control over that still.
Yeah. We also troubleshoot like all of our tech and all of our production. Like no one's like helping us set up our cameras and the lights and the mics and like I feel like sometimes like people rent studio space here in New York and someone's there to like do it for you. Like no one does it for us. Like I'm setting this up every day in my own apartment and like recording my own shit. I sit back at my chair and I'm like, just before when we were recording this, I'm like, oh, I'm uneven. Like I was uneven and I had to move the thing. Normally there would be someone behind the camera saying, oh, Steph, move over a little bit so you can be more centered. But like, there's no one that does that. So there's a lot. So our team is me, Jackie, Megan, and right now, and that's it. For a while, we used to have Brian who would do our overnight audio editing and some other ad hoc things. We miss
He
Brian.
did our we love Brian so much. He did our audio editing though, and he only does audio editing. And when we made the switch to video, like it just doesn't make sense to have a video editor and an audio editor. But we loved everyone that we've worked with. We also had someone that did PR for us for a little bit. Loved her too, Jessica. If you're watching, I think she's still a FOTS. But yeah, other than that, we're a 2-man band. Wait, someone wrote, "Who's your dream guest on your podcast?" And I was like, "Dream guest on my podcast?"
Oh my God, wait, what was that voice?
Do you not know what that is?
No.
Dream guest on my podcast? Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, let's spice things up. One of my exes.
Seriously?
No, I'm like, why are you talking like that?
Jojo Siva. Let's spice it up. One of my exes. That's going to be my answer. Let's just spice it up. One of my exes. No, my dream coach guest on my podcast is Claire Crowley. My dream guest has moved from, I mean, Claire's probably always been on the list, but like Chris Soules used to be on the list. There's been a lot of people who we've interviewed so many people. I've hit a lot of my dream guests. So I think Claire is definitely one that still stands.
I'm like, who's mine? I feel like I haven't ever said this, or we haven't even really talked about this being a dream guest, but I'm going to manifest it and put it out there. I think Ari. But only if we could ask him any question we wanted. Yeah.
And you don't want Lauren there. Not, we love Lauren, but you're talking.
We love Lauren,
Ari by himself.
I think I want Ari specifically so that he doesn't feel like he has to sugarcoat things in front of
Lauren.
Lauren.
He's going to be like,
of course.
Well,
he's going to try to rewrite history. And no. I want to get to the bottom of things. Yeah, Ari, but I would want no filter and no editing. We could ask him whatever we wanted.
All his answers are going to be like, yeah, so I, and then he's going to look at Lauren and she's going to nod, get her approval. Allowed. Yeah. That's a really good one. What's the hottest tea that has been spilled over the past 3 years? No, I would say the hottest tea that I think has been spilled over the past 3 years is that the Pretty Woman date is a facade from Susie Evans. And that was not a planned question. In the interview, I randomly remember that she went on the Pretty Woman date, and I'm like, oh wait, you went on the Pretty Woman date, right? Like that. I didn't know that when we were prepping the questions.
Yeah.
I thought for sure after Susie said what she said, she was going to ask us to take it out, and she didn't. It still lives there. If you want to go find it.
Yeah, that's
Susie.
a good one. Is there any like fun Halloween ones? Also, guys, too. Okay, so Halloween's obviously on Thursday. I know I've like briefly said like, oh, I'll be Anna Delvey or something. I'm kind of over that. I don't really want to do it. So, but I'm feeling generally uninspired for Halloween. Can you guys send me ideas of things that are like super easy in that like I can just do makeup like a certain way and then like wear a dress or like get a hat or like something.
I
don't really want to do anything crazy.
You should be.
Guys, you figure it out and you let me know. Cause I'm just like, I'm feeling uninspired, but I need to do something on Thursday. So
you should be Anne Hathaway in the awkward interview clip and just bring around like a pitcher of water and pour a tall glass of water and then just say, I won't be doing that, but you're welcome to do that.
But I would have to wear a wig because she had short hair then.
Or you could just like, pin it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound off in the comments below.
That's not a very cute costume.
No, but you have the water jug. So if you're thirsty.
Right. And that makes it sexy. You're like, no, it's not cute or attractive, but the water jug, you'll be so hydrated the whole day.
Next week, instead of the classic sound off, we're going to be doing our Halloween, like reacting to Bachelor Nation's Halloween costumes. So if you see something, send it over. We're going to be, like reacting to Bachelor's best. So maybe we'll get some good ones in there. But yeah, if you have any ideas prior to Halloween, sound off in the comments below. Help Jackie out. I'm being a skeleton. And not even a sexy skeleton. All right. Well, those are all the topics we have for today. We will see you on Halloween for the recap. And then we'll see you next week for the Halloween recap.
And then when is Joan's finale? Because
we don't know yet, but I want to come over.
Still no announcement? Well, but it's probably going to be like not this coming week, but next week then, right? Well, or do they do a men tell all and then the following week?
They're probably going to do men tell all. And I haven't even heard that they filmed it, which usually Steve will talk about that.
Yeah, so maybe they're not doing that. They're running out of time, honestly.
Well, they're going to honestly, if Mark is dating someone, they're going to have to prop Jonathan up now. They're going to be like, Jonathan, weren't you so heartbroken when Joan walked you out? No, but I'm here for Jonathan, but like, let's not now rewrite history and act like he was so devastated because he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because they're like, fuck, Mark is dating Deb.
God damn it, Deb.
All right. Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. Bye, bitches.